back with this breaking news on Capitol Hill. A dramatic moment just happened in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Democrats walking out of a hearing on the nomination of Trump official Emil Bove to a federal judgeship. Take a look. This was just moments ago.
To pass jurisdiction and pass precedent. Why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's what we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's a way to do this. If you want to force this through, if you want to ram this through, there's a way to do it in accordance to the rules as spelled out by the parliamentarian. It is simple. It is clear. There's a pathway to achieve what you're trying to achieve. But, sir, this lacks decency. It lacks decorum. It shows that you do not want to simply hear from your colleagues. This is absolutely wrong. And, sir, this is to me one of those moments where we are not showing common respect for each other on both sides. I have sat here when we were in the majority and listened to my colleagues' arguments, listened to their passionate statements, and then we voted. This is not that. This is us simply trying to rush through one of the most controversial nominees we've had under this presidential administration. Sir, God bless America. You are a good man. You are a decent man. Why are you doing this? What is Donald Trump saying to you that are making you do something which is violating the decorum of this committee, the rules of this committee, the decency and the respect that we have each other to at least hear each other out?
Nomination. Cory Booker need to knock that shit off. It's so embarrassing. All the rest of the Democrats got up and left. He should have left with them. He should have just said, I'm out. Just leave. Sometimes silence is going to leave you with a little more respect, a little more dignity than sitting there pleading and crying and begging the opposing party to do something that they don't have to do. It can be done as a courtesy. It's letting you know that they're giving you the middle finger. They're basically saying, we ain't being nice about this because this is important to us. And if we sit here and allow you to get free advertising on our time, that ain't happening. You're not going to sit here and tell us what a terrible candidate we have when all we got to do is approve them and get them through without all that. We don't have to allow you that whining moment, that little bitch ass shit. We don't have to give you that. And Booker don't seem to get it. He's sitting there, please, I know you have a good heart. I know, well, if they have such a good heart, why are they doing this? Because you're just saying shit. And you guys are okay with us following that type of leadership. Losers with no direction. He's still following policies that we as black people know don't work. We know it ain't going to work for us because we are at the bottom. And then the illegal immigrants are the next rung up. But we are at the bottom. We get the least help, support, love. And he there pleading and crying about some judge that they're trying to push through when it's nothing he can do about it. If he could really do something about it, then this would make sense. But if you're just out there expecting the Republicans to lend you the mic so we can go through all those Democrats and slow down the process and bash their candidate, that doesn't even make any sense. That's a loser mentality from a losing party that needs to get up and exit the room. And they should go and enter another room and start talking. Man, we can't do this. This feels terrible. Sitting in this room by ourselves, helpless, while the country moves forward, while a judge gets appointed, while we are basically helpless. We are asking a significant group of the American population to support us, the Democrats, and you helpless. You can't do anything for them. That is not good. And we could sneak out the back door, black folks, get our voting block together and get out. Start talking to the other side and the Democrats and see who's talking the sweetest. Because the Democrats have been enjoying free support, free votes with nothing given back. A couple of holidays here and there, and they appoint Kamala and some other black people in prominent positions, and they think that's supposed to satisfy our feeling of growth and prosperity, and it ain't. It ain't. We ain't stupid. Cory Booker is willing to continue to keep us stupid, to continue to whine and cry when we have no. If you're at a basketball game and you lose, you have to leave the court. You can't go back and say, hey, in the third quarter, that was a foul when it's over. The game ends. You have to accept it the way it is. And right now, the game ended on election day for them. And it would have been very good for them to have moments like this where they show us glimmers of potential, of possibilities, of change. But instead, this is what we're getting, and they expect us to continue to support this. We cannot. We need to form a block of black voters and ignore people like that. If they're not talking from a position of power and a position of strength, then we don't need to be talking to them.
I've sat through so many long speeches of my colleagues, heard their objections, listened with sincerity to try to see what their arguments are. But we are not doing that. Sir, this is wrong, and you know it. There are some people on this committee who are the least firebrand people, and they've walked out. Some of the least controversial people in the Senate, some of the people that worked the hardest to find bipartisan common ground have just walked out of this committee. And you don't even seem to care, but I know you do. I know your heart, Senator Grassley. This is wrong. I know the kind of person you are.
The longer he goes on, the worse this shit gets. They are completely ignoring him, and apparently his own folks are. They left. They like, fuck it, we out. I don't know if they discussed it before they went in or not, but it should have been more coordinated effort where Cory Booker don't get left behind looking like a damn idiot. He should have got up and walked out shortly after they did, if not with them. He should have said, final parting shot and walked the hell out. All this pleading and begging is not good. It's not attractive. It doesn't make me want to vote for him. Why would a person be in that position to conduct themselves that way? Because obviously they're not a great politician. Obviously the party that they support ain't winning. This is not how winners communicate. This is not how the people on top do. We have no reason to be a part of the Democratic Party. We're at the bottom. We're losing. And why in the hell would we attach ourselves to the party that's losing without trying to negotiate with the party that got the ability to negotiate with us? And if the Democrats want our support, they're going to have to learn how to win, and they're going to have to learn how to come at us with an effort that lets us know that they're going to give us something and not another holiday. They got to be something that we need to start climbing up the rungs of that ladder. Because I have seen immediately, and it was a very close call, but the illegal immigrants have taken a step up, and their momentum is going in the right direction. Ours isn't. And it definitely isn't if we continue to listen to Cory Booker and people like him.
You know this is wrong. This is not necessary. What is another half an hour to allow senators to be heard? It's what the Constitution mandates. It's the ideals of the United States Senate. The world's most deliberative body should take a decent amount of time to deliberate. But here we're not doing that. Here we are jamming this through with some sense of false urgency. It's one thing not to hear from whistleblowers. It's another thing not to hold another hearing, but to not even allow my colleagues to have their moment to speak against this justice is just wrong. And I know you know this. I know you know this.
Just look at those empty chairs. His ass should be on the other side of that wall, and his chair should be empty. I have no idea where Cory Booker thinks this is going, or if he believes that his impassioned pleading is going to make us feel warm and soft-hearted, and we're going to support him just because he is showing us that he's fighting for us. No. Those days are done. We don't need no more of this symbolism. We need some shit that's going to help us. And if Cory Booker want to keep playing the old games, then he got to go too. He's not an old dude. He could be a part of the new movement, but he isn't going to be. He's stuck in the past with the old Democrats who want to continue to play these old slave time games. We need to stop. We need to stand up, and we need to combat this shit differently. And if our black politicians want to continue to stay in politics, the hell with them. because we need to get ourselves out of politics. We're arguing over shit that don't even matter to us, don't even concern us, because we're at the bottom. They don't make bills for people at the bottom. We got to make them. We got to make sure that they realize we have a vote, and we could consolidate that vote and use it as leverage, use it to get us what we want.
The only time this rule has ever been overturned by both parties was done when one minority was trying to pull some stunt to stop the committee from hearing. This is not that. This is not the 2-hour rule. This is a basic element of the ideals of this committee, sir. It is the basic understanding of having debate and deliberation. It's a basic understanding of we can listen to each other even if we disagree, that we should have time and space and a forum to listen. Sir, this is just wrong in every way.
I kind of believe that he's snitching on the behind the scenes thing, and he doesn't even realize it. But I think he's just basically hurt because the Democrats and the Republicans have games and rules to these games. And right now, Trump and these Republicans aren't playing it. They're not following the rules and the things that have been going on. They don't care. They're doing new things to really win. They're not trying to make the other side feel okay. They're not checking on them to make sure everybody, you guys all good, because we won't do this if you're not going to be good. They're not playing that shit no more. And I think he's really hurt. And I believe if you pay attention to the way he's speaking and the words that are coming out of his mouth and the tone, he's just telling us what he expects because that's what they agree upon. And it's theater for us. We're supposed to sit back and cheer for one side or the other and believe this stuff. He's letting the cat out of the bag. He'd have been better to get up and go and think up a new plan and say it now. If you got something to say as a parting shot, say that shit and then leave the room. But don't be in there just whining and crying, and they are not listening to you. It's falling upon deaf ears.
It is wrong in every single way. This is an abuse of power. It's an undermining of the well-being and the integrity of this Senate and this committee that I for so long, I've been so honored to be a part of. This is wrong, sir, and I join with my colleagues in leaving. This is a sham.
Vote.
This is wrong.
We'll report.
We're better than this.
Pratt to the floor. Now we'll have to vote on these nominees for U.S. Attorney because...
Okay, let's find out what exactly went down. I want to bring in our Capitol Hill correspondent, NBC's Julie Sirkin, also joining us as former Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota. Julie, what a moment there. I mean, the emotion and the outrage that we just heard, it got personal with Senator Booker appealing to...
And that's the problem. It can't get personal. See, that's what we've done. We've allowed the Democrats to get personal with us. So whether they win or lose, it's personal. We love them. We're a part of their family. And we can't abandon them just because they're losing. We can't abandon them when they're winning, because when they're winning, they don't do nothing for us. And when they're losing, they can't do nothing for us. But we're family. We love them. We're going to be with them no matter what. And that is the mentality that has to be broken. The Cory Bookers of the world who have us believing that fighting is whining and fighting is crying and fighting is begging the party in power to allow you to be heard. That's not what we need to be a part of. We need to disassociate ourselves as a block, the black block of voters, away from them until they start. When they see that we ain't showing up like we used to, maybe they'll realize that we have value, that we have no value because we don't ask for nothing in return. We're like free to them. They look at us as the vote they can count on, the vote they can put over here on the side and not have to think about, and then they figure out ways to attack all these other parties and get them on board. And in some of those instances, they're waving right in our face things that they could have offered us or could have done for us or could have put into a plan for us. And they're willing to use it to get other groups over because they don't have to use it to get us.
Chuck Grassley, the chair of this committee, what exactly went down before that?
Yeah, Anna, telling him, I know you, Senator Grassley, I know you are a decent man, I know you are a decent human. What did Donald Trump, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he asked Grassley, what did Donald Trump say to you to make you violate the rules of this committee, the decorum? That is what Cory Booker had said. What I was so struck by, Anna, is that while Booker was talking, they continued voting. And what the Senate Judiciary Committee is meeting to vote on today is a whole slate of nominees for various.
Yeah, because they're not going to let the losing party control their time and dictate how they move forward. He had his moment. It was time for him to leave with the rest of them. They were taking their vote. They ain't got time for this shit. They're trying to be expedient. That's what we need to be. The Democrats are showing it again, dragging their feet, slowing down the process. You lost. Get out the way. Win, and then you get to pick how fast things go. And we know how fast things go with the Democrats. It's like honey going uphill in the winter. They don't give a damn. They don't care. They're not trying to do anything. They are working at a pace that's accomplishing the things that they're trying to accomplish, and they're doing a damn good job at it. But we're looking at the important stuff in our lives being wrestled and fought, and we're trying and we're battling, and decades later we're still battling and fighting the same stuff. So we've obviously had a bad game plan. That's okay. We can regroup and we can change instantly. If we had done 30, 40, 50 years ago what we need to do today, we wouldn't be in the same position. Politics in the United States of America would be completely different. And all we have to do is hold together as a solid voting bloc. And the thing about it is, folks, we're already doing it. We're already doing it. But we just are being loyal to one party, and we need to be loyal to no party. We need to be loyal to those who are going to be loyal to us, those who are going to come seek us out and say, hey, we know we've been wrong over these decades and centuries, half centuries, as they pile up, and no work has been done to correct any of this. We need that party to speak up. Which party is going to speak up and say those words to us, to get us back in, to make us, and to never expect us to be in your tent, but to understand that we can be friendly, that we can do business, but we cannot be in anybody's tent, because coming from where we came from and seeing what we have seen since coming from where we came from, we know that shit ain't going to work for us. It's just a way to get our vote and give us nothing. And they can be pretty creative about how they go about it. There's always a crisis bigger than us. Right now, it's the illegal immigrants. And if we fall for this, this is about as in your face as they've ever gotten. They've gotten in our face pretty openly, killing black people under police cars and all the open out in our face stuff they do, economically, politically, and otherwise. But when you take a group of illegal immigrants and show more effort in their survival and that they flourish in this country than you've ever showed for black people, we have to do something. We're going to be the Cory Bookers of the racial makeup of the country. We're going to be the ones sitting at the table whining and crying and begging instead of having enough leverage to do something about it. Don't just beg someone else to.
Judicial positions, the most controversial of them, Emil Bove, who is somebody who works for the Trump administration. He is somebody who is very close to the president. And Democrats tried to slow walk his nomination intentionally because they've heard from whistleblowers who they say prove that Bove had intended to tell the Trump administration to essentially defy court orders, especially when it comes to deporting illegal undocumented immigrants to countries they have no relation to. And so this is a moment where Booker tried to use to debate, to have extra time to talk about these nominees. We already know that he was going to.
That's what I'm saying. Do they have any nominees or any judges, or this nominee has done anything bad to black people? Can Cory Booker bring that up? He probably has tried to make votes or rulings that go against illegal immigrants being able to stay in the country. Nobody's fighting for their citizenship. They just want them here because they need to use them. And we need a judge or a nominee or politicians who are going to advocate for us. And none of them are. Let's accept the fact they're never going to advocate for us. And the only way we can ever get them to is to use leverage, to negotiate, and to make deals. That's it. If we ain't making deals, we ain't going nowhere, because they're not giving us anything without some resistance or without us standing up with some respect and dignity and asking for it. They just have to. And otherwise, we can take our vote and stay home. And we can quit believing that our forefathers, ancestors, and generations that preceded us died for us to just give our vote to the Democrats and do nothing for us. They may have died for the right for us to vote, but they didn't die for us to vote the way we've been voting. They didn't die for the Democratic Party to have a lifetime lock on black people. They didn't die for that. We need to stop talking that shit about dying for voting rights and all that. That ain't the way it went, because we are not exercising our voting rights the way they were meant to be used. We just ain't doing it. We don't get it, and we have to get it. I mean, if you guys think that Cory Booker's little whining speech is going to make more people come to the party, you're tripping. If I was an illegal immigrant and I see that, I'd be hoping that Trump changed his tune, gave us a little slither of a hope, and I go with it, because the Democrats are getting you deported. The Democrats have set you up to be put in a moment, instead of coming into the country under some kind of different condition where this kind of thing could never happen. They just threw caution to the wind and hoped that the Republicans would never, ever do something like this. Hoped. That's messed up.
Try to stop particularly Bove's nomination. But you saw there that Chuck Grassley, who was the Republican chairman of that panel, continued through their votes anyway. Booker and Democrats, all of them walking out without even finishing the votes. This committee is still meeting, of course, and with Republicans in the majority, they don't necessarily need Democrats present, but still just a stunning moment, especially in this committee that has seen, of course, flashpoints before, but generally the Republicans and Democrats do tend to work well together on this panel.
Senator,
what I find stunning is that the Democrats had a choice: get up and get the fuck out, or sit there and shut up. That's a hell of a choice to have. That's it. Nothing else that they could do have mattered, would have changed anything one iota. So they needed to sit there and shut up or get up and get out. And they should have grabbed Cory Booker on the way. Hey, man, come on, man, get the fuck out. You know, it's over. It's done. We have come to the end of the road. We need to realize that there has to be a different approach for us to go further. And there is no approach that's going to continue for us to go forward this way. We're not going to get nothing. Do we want to lose? Do we like being at the bottom? Or do we know we're at the bottom? I don't think a lot of black people are aware that in every major category, we're really at the bottom, for real. And they're doing things to help other people not be in our position.
what's your reaction to what we just witnessed?
Well, my reaction is that this was a moment for the Democrats to really, state their case against this nominee. And the reason why it's important is there's big rumors in Washington that if there's a vacancy in the Supreme Court, this person may, in fact, be nominated for the Supreme Court. And so to basically have this day where you can speak to the public and say, this is why he is a bad nominee. This is why he's unqualified for this position, and he's unqualified for any position.
It's not the Republicans' responsibility to give the Democrats the opportunity. Why don't Cory Booker call a press conference? Why don't he say that shit in a press conference and quit holding up the way the Senate is moving? Let the Judiciary Committee do their thing and don't be holding it up and dragging your feet. Get the fuck out the way and let them do their business. And when you get in power, you do your business and you move expeditiously forward. And you don't sit there and let a dying party hold you up and you're just sitting there like twirling your... No, you got to go. Get out of here. We ain't got time for this shit. We're about to confirm a judge and move forward in life and do what they think is right. If it ain't right, win some elections and show us what right is.
He also is very controversial in the legal profession. Many Republicans outside of this committee and outside of the complicit Republican Senate are telling them, do not nominate him. He will be a thorn in your side going forward, and do not, basically push him through. They're going to get their chance on the floor. I doubt that Thune's going to shut down debate. But this is bigger than just this nomination. And this was the moment to basically state their case against this nominee. And Chuck Grassley, who knows better, as Booker said, he knows better, did not give them that opportunity. And I think for everybody listening, you say, why not? Because there's so much evidence against this guy.
Because they don't have to. It's not because of anything. If this guy was squeaky clean, the best candidate that both sides loved, there's still no reason to give the Democrats an opportunity to get up and gloat over the guy or to get up and bash the guy. There's no reason for them to get up, period. There's no reason. He's about to be confirmed without them. So what part of this process do they have other than to sit down and shut the fuck up?
There is so much to say about this guy. Grassley does not want that in the public record. And it's just bad business. And when people say, oh, the Senate, there are people you can work with, Chuck Grassley's been that person you can work with. And this is really, I think, from him backing away from his support of IGs, from him basically doing the bidding of the administration, he has really injured his reputation with a lot of us who think very highly of Chuck.
Yeah, but it don't matter. They don't vote for him. They don't support him. So why should he allow them any opportunity? Maybe that's why they're where they are. Maybe they do follow tradition too much. Maybe they do allow people to speak when they don't have to. If they don't have to, don't let them. Keep moving the process along. It's slow enough as it is. And get some shit done. And we'll be good.
Emil Bove, you mentioned his background. He was, a lot of people might remember him on the defense team of Donald Trump here in New York before Trump was elected, when it came to his prosecution and criminal charges. And he clearly won over Donald Trump in that moment as his defender. He also now, as a high-ranking DOJ official, was involved in dismissing the corruption charges against the New York City Mayor Eric Adams, which led to a bunch of resignations within the Justice Department and the U.S. Attorney's Office related to that. He also has been alleged to have suggested disregarding court orders, which Julie touched on, according to some whistleblower accounts. So that is in part what makes him so controversial as a nominee. What else can Democrats do at this point? Is there anything as the minority party for them, any other cards for them to play?
Well, obviously, picking off a couple more moderate Republicans, you're always asking people to step up, and it's been a calamity because there aren't a lot of courageous Republicans who will push back against this kind of nominee or push back against bad legislation. And so, the only thing you have right now is the bully pulpit. And as this nominee moves to the floor of the Senate, I doubt that Thune will shut down debate. There will be a back and forth. There's always opportunity for filibuster. And so there is going to be the day in court. And I think they're just trying to figure out in the majority, how do they handle something that's this red hot? And like I said, there is tons of people on the outside, not just members of the minority. There's Republican attorneys who are saying this is a very bad choice. And again, because there is this rumor that he would be front row and center for a nominee for the Supreme Court, it's critically important that you make the case right now, because we heard over and over again, if you don't like this person, why did you put him on the circuit court? Why did you give him a district court appointment? And so the Democrats are naturally going to be very, very hesitant to move anyone onto into a position, where they approve them or are part of that, where they don't make the case against them right now.
Well, the Supreme Court makeup is 9 justices, 6 Republican leaning and 3 Democrat leaning. So yeah, the Democrats should be nervous about Supreme Court justices. I mean, this shit looks bad for a long time for Democrats. And anything going to the Supreme Court, they should be biting their nails. And it's their own fault. It's their own fault. Letting people get old and not retire. I'm telling you, having ideas that make people believe that's the norm. That's what I wanted. That's what everyone wants. It's not always the case. You got to legislate. You got to win. And you have to get support that's undying and not like what we have for the Democrats. We need undying support for someone who has undying support for us. And if no one has undying support for us, then we're going to have to support you seasonally, depending on the election cycle and what you're talking this time. And once they realize that we can stick to that kind of disciplined voting format, the sky is the limit. They're going to seek us out. They're going to want to be a part of what we got going because we have what they need, votes. That's the bottom line. That's what it's all about. You either win or you lose. And you can even lose and gain support in a losing effort, but not when you start doubling and tripling down on the policies that got you in last place. And you're not doing anything for any of your constituency because you've taken this entire moment off to help out millions of illegal immigrants who take priority over all of us right now. Regular Democrats, Black Democrats, Hispanic Democrats, any other Democrats are taking a back seat to what's going on now between the Democrats and the Republicans in this immigration issue. And the Democrats could have made it a lot easier on all of us by not just opening up the floodgates. And we have enough illegal immigrants in the country than letting them pile on by the millions coming into the country and really believing in honesty that these are asylum seekers, or at least in high percentages. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.